The actor Heath Ledger was found dead today in an apartment here in New York City. He was just 28 years old.
Just months before Heath Ledger's blockbuster hit The Dark Knight was released,
It's simple. Kill the Batman.
the actor's death was ruled an accidental drug overdose.
Heath Ledger was obviously a famous Australian actor who I actually quite liked and really enjoyed his movies. And he sadly passed away in 2008 at the age of 28 years of age. In 2003, 5 years before his death, Heath actually had prepared a will, and in his will left all of his assets to his parents and sisters. And then what happened was in 2005, Heath had a daughter, Matilda, to his partner, Michelle Williams. And at the time of his death, he hadn't updated his will to include Michelle and Matilda in his will.
I noticed you mentioned that he had created a will when he was 23 years old. That's quite an interesting observation. Are there any other observations in that case that you found quite interesting that stands out to you as a lawyer?
The first thing is, at 23 years of age, most people don't think about a will. And so it's quite remarkable that he did, and presumably because, he's quite successful and had property assets at that time. But then what he failed to do was actually update that will when important life events happened, which is the birth of his children. He probably got obviously busy with life, busy with work, busy with his family, right? And didn't update it. That is a real shame, because by not updating his will, it meant that everything was actually left to his parents and sisters, and that his daughter would not get anything. And so fortunately in that case, his parents, obviously they had a very solid family unit, and his parents and sisters knew what he wanted and then gave everything to his daughter. So that everything was ended up really well. But not all stories end that way. And so what this Heath Ledger example highlights is the importance of regularly updating your will and making sure that it reflects your intentions and that your tenants are protected. And I guess more so in Heath's example, where you're either someone who's famous in the public eye or you've got a number of assets, it's even more important to regularly review your will to make sure that you've allocated your assets properly and that your dependents are protected.
So for those creating wills, what would you recommend they do to minimize potential conflict among their beneficiaries down the road?
The most important thing is actually the first step, which is create your will. And then after you've created it, it's great because it gives you that level of protection. But then you've just got to know that as your life changes, your relationships change, there's births, deaths, finances change, then you should update your will and make sure that it still reflects your intentions. We also recommend working with a financial planner to ensure that you are preparing for the future in the event of your retirement or death, so you have enough assets at that point in time for your dependents to live comfortably. And the final way to minimize potential conflict is to have ongoing conversations with your loved ones. Make sure everyone's on the same page, everyone knows your wishes, and that will hopefully reduce any disharmony and prevent any disputes in the future. Life changes. Life never stays still. So as your life changes, as you get married, if you get divorced, if you have children, as your finances and assets change, they're all great times for you to actually think about your will and whether your will still reflects your wishes. Because if they don't, then it's time to update your will. The other thing is that tax laws and assets fluctuate over time as well. So then you should always work with your financial planners, your accountants, or lawyers to make sure that you're maximizing the asset pool, maximizing the ultimate distribution to your beneficiaries. Overall, an updated will provides you peace of mind and ensures that your beneficiaries are looked after, and then prevents potential disputes in the future. And if something unexpected, such as Heath passing away at such an early age happens, then you're protected. Regularly updating your will is a must. You should always update it every few years, just to make sure it reflects your wishes. That will make sure that your assets are left to your intended beneficiaries and also reduce potential conflict.